Without further ado, I present to you. What's up, everybody? You're watching another episode of Live with Wolfman. I'm your host, Jacob Wolfman, and this is a show about all the things that I'm interested in and all the things that you're interested in. We talk about martial arts and videography, photography, and kung fu and tricking and point fighting and forms and weapons and I don't know, how to rob banks. If you guys are interested, just let me know. You can just leave a comment. I'll get a bank robber on the show. Now, without further ado, you can hear him in the background. I wanna say, first of all, this is show history today for a couple things. First off, first time I've ever had guests, multiple guests on the show. I got 2 guests. And the other thing is, I think these are the biggest names I've ever had on the show, believe it or not. These guys have 100,000 subscribers on YouTube. So I'm super excited to have them on the show. Everybody, give me all the floating thumbs ups you've ever had. Drop it for Andy Lee and Daniel Mah of Martial Club.
Yo! Can they even see us?
Yes, they can see you. You guys are live. You're on the air.
Oh!
This is cool.
What's up, everybody?
All right, guys.
Good morning.
How are you doing today?
Still morning over here in the West Coast. Pretty good. Had my coffee, so I think we're
good call.
I don't have my coffee yet.
Today's episode is brought to you by Goku. He heats up when the coffee's hot, so my coffee's not hot anymore.
Caffeine.
Oh, Philip's watching. Pressure's on now.
Uh-oh, Philip's in the house.
I closed my Facebook because like my bandwidth is just like barely handling this, so
it's all good.
I'm just gonna have to take that people want to watch us, you know.
I'll take care of the comments as they come in. Yeah, Philip, I see him creeping in the background. He hasn't said hi though. Ish Payne is in the building. Presley's in the building.
Ish Payne.
It's not really a building though, is it? I just like saying that. Josh Bailey, my wolf pack's here. So, Andy, you were like, you've talked about me before on the show, and yeah, I talked about you 2 episodes. One with Sean Ellis, and he wanted to talk about your sampler and how much he loved it. That whole episode was focused on style, creating your own style, being your own thing, and you were a prime example of that. And so we just broke down your sampler, and we're like, yeah, this is what tricking's all about. This is the spirit of it. So we mentioned you on that video, and then we also had an episode with Philip Sahagan, who's my second guest ever on the show, and we talked about your kung fu skills and your tricking skills. So yeah, I'm glad that you're actually here in the flesh.
Dope.
Daniel Mah, man, I remember training with you at White Lotus back in the day.
Man, White Lotus days.
Yeah.
In 2011.
Yeah.
2011.
I know, it's like ancient history now, right?
A lot's happened.
Yeah, a lot's happened. Yeah, so one of the most exciting things that has happened with you guys as of recently has to do with Jackie Chan.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
So Andy Lee, this is kind of an Andy Lee story, I believe. Do you want to kind of tell us what went on with you and the man?
Yeah. Well, first, you guys want to see? If you guys want to see Jacob, maybe you could link like a video.
Yep.
Maybe because we did have a video that kind of like.
Yep, I'm gonna pop it up.
Everything.
It's gonna take
that
me
kind of explained
second.
everything that went down behind the scenes. But pretty much, like one day, I remember this very specific day. One night, I had a tricking session at one of the open gyms, and like Daniel and Bryan were there with me that day, and I had like the crappiest session like ever in my life.
I can vouch for all of that. He sucked.
Yeah. And then on the way home, I got a phone call from one of my friends. He's his name is Andy Chang. He's kind of like a legend, kind of in the stunt world. He's like an older member of the he's like a member of the older like generation of Jackie Chan stunt team. And so he called me up.
Chances are you've seen his face. You just don't know it.
Yeah. You've probably seen his face in all of Jackie Chan's movies. You just probably don't know him by name. But yeah, he pretty much gave me a call. And he's like, hey Andy, like, you know, I need some like old school kung fu stuff for like this Jackie Chan commercial. Like, can you do it? And I was like, yeah, let's do it. And dude, and as soon as that happened, like The next day he sent me like the storyboard. And so as soon as I knew what I needed to, I needed to like help like choreograph like some old school kung fu stuff, not so much like the contemporary wushu stuff or like the traditional kung fu stuff, but the more like movie, like old school, like they capture like the old school Golden Harvest essence, I guess you can say. And so I called Daniel and Bryan over to meet up at Daniel's kung fu school, and then I was like, "Yo, Bryan, just get everything together for me and Daniel, like me and you, we're gonna come up with some ideas." And like we came up with like 4 sets of backup ideas just because it's Jackie Chan, And so you gotta come strapped. And so man, I remember on that day, like I was on the set, and I remember it was he came in during lunchtime, okay? After lunch. So we did all my he came in after lunch. So I remember during lunch I skipped lunch because the only thing we wanted to do was to get our demo reels to him. We had like our demo reels. Yeah, we had our reels and all our videos and everything, all our contact information like in like flash drives. And and I
methodology.
So just so you guys know, we're playing the video that you referenced earlier, and we're seeing you teach Jackie Chan some choreography. This is the first time you've ever met him?
Yeah, I met him earlier
in the day.
But yeah, I mean, really though, to be honest, I didn't really do much. I just taught him the moves that he already did like 40 years ago.
Yeah,
this is my 4th time.
Well, okay, so you're not actually teaching Jackie Chan moves, but you're teaching a choreography set that you created. But
yeah, I created based on his movies that he did 40 years ago.
That's hilarious. That's great.
Yeah.
So did you actually go through and study Jackie Chan movies and then?
Oh yeah, ask Daniel. Me and Daniel were like, dude, all right, Drunken Master, the original Master, Drunken Master 2, Snake and Eagle's Shadow.
Yeah.
Oh.
I would say we all do our fair share of homework, but like Andy goes like above and beyond. Like you'll see him like with headphones on, and we're like, "Hey, what are you listening to?" He's like, "Fight beats." Like he's literally just listening to the sounds of like fight scenes because it's like music to him, and we're like, "Ooh, okay." But the results don't lie. He puts it in.
Interesting. Wait, say that again.
Oh, thanks.
You listen to it like music.
Yeah. So, So like, there'll be times when like we're working on something or we're practicing, and Andy's like listening to his headphones, and like normal people would be like listening to rap or whatever it takes to get him hyped. And we're like, "What are you listening to?" And he'll be literally listening to like the beats of like punches and kicks in kung fu movies.
That's so like, just like
as we're music. Yeah, exactly. And then you hear him like singing along to it.
Hey, people don't recognize it, but like rhythm.
Yeah.
In fight scenes they play a really huge part. Rhythm and sound design, even like the sound effects, like this type of sound effects you use, like it plays like a huge part to like the impact the fight scene makes on the audience.
Now you guys have done a lot of fight scenes on your Martial Club YouTube channel, which is why it's now 102,000 subscribers. By the way, congratulations on that. That's pretty awesome.
Thank you so much.
So tell us a little bit.
It's been a long time.
Yeah. When did Martial Club start? What's the story of that?
Dima, I think you got this one better than I do.
Okay. I would say officially Martial Club started in 2012. But Andy and I met as far back as 2009. At first, it was just we were just friends. We met at an open gym actually, Gym Max in Costa Mesa.
Yep.
And back then, like we came from like completely different camps, even though we both did Chinese martial arts. In fact, it was when we realized that both of us were tricking and both of us were doing Chinese martial arts that we realized we had a lot. So, took it from open gym, started practicing together outside of open gym. And like the more I got to know Andy, the more I realized he was in the film. So he asked me, he said like, I like to do like action shorts, but no one ever wants to do like traditional kung fu with me because it's just like a harder process. Would you want to do it with me? So I'm like, heck yeah, man. Like I've always looked for an opportunity like this. So we started to collaborate more and more, and we got Bryan into it, and eventually like we just developed this like little like friend culture that was very unique because it was centered around Chinese martial arts, which is kind of like fallen outside of the guy. And then one day, we were just talking about movies, and Andy's like, "What's your favorite kung fu movie? Or what's your favorite kung fu movie scene?" And it was kind of like one of those things you just feel in the air. And at the same time, we're like,
yeah, Martial Club.
And we're like, dude, that was like the coolest fight scene ever. And then like as time went on, I'm like, dude, we're like so into martial arts, and like now you, Ryan, and me, we're like a club. Maybe we should form a martial club. And it was like the stupidest thing at first, but then it started to like catch on.
It became a thing, man.
Yeah, it became a thing.
Well,
We started making.
I mean, it's a great name. It's a fantastic name. So I'm playing.
Yeah, I love it.
I'm
It's so
playing
funny. Love puns.
the Martial Club fight scene right now.
Yeah.
So-
This was the one. Like,
What's the story of
this is
this
when I
this
realized,
fight scene?
like, so it's really really nuanced. The movie itself has like a lot of things happen in the movie, but essentially what's happening is the guy on the right is Gordon Liu. You might have seen him as Pai Mei in Kill Bill Volume 2.
He's old school kung fu veteran.
Yeah. So after Bruce Lee, he kind of became like the face of like old school kung fu movies, and he's just iconic. So, in this movie, he's playing a famous Chinese folk hero named Wang Feihong, and this is a movie. Wang Feihong actually has a record in the Guinness Book of World Records for having the most continuous movies made about him. So meaning like, you know how James Bond has like 50 films in
Yeah.
the franchise. This has like over 100.
Over
films in the
100.
franchise. Yeah. So Martial Club is actually a Wang Feihong movie, and it's about him coming of age. So he's actually young. And like he spent from like an immature little kid to a refined martial arts master, and this is kind of like his final test. He's always known as a famous martial arts master from the south, and he's fighting a famous martial arts master from the north. So everything they're showing is like the best
Northern
southern
versus
martial
Southern.
arts. Yeah, it's a whole like epic battle of northern versus southern, and he's like using all the styles, all the animals that his style features, and the northern guy is like responding with his kicks and his wide arm motions, and it's like a clash of opposites.
Yeah, and what one thing I really liked about this fight scene is like you see the styles progress, right? So you see that they're fighting in an alleyway.
Mm-hmm.
Eventually, as they move down the alleyway gets more and more narrow, and because they get more and more narrow, they have to dig deeper into more advanced like elements of the southern and northern styles. So you see like they're getting deeper into the alleyway, and so the northerner has to start using kicks, and so Gordon Liu Wang Feihong has to respond with like iron wire fist, or very more close range and internal styles, and so you see the styles progress. That's what I really liked about this. If you're really like true martial arts fan, you can see it. To anyone else, it could just be a normal fight scene, but like for us, we saw that and we were like, dude, this is like the best fight scene ever.
Yes, well, that's what I love about Chinese martial arts movies, is that the really good ones, they display a really intense, nuanced dialogue. Wait, are we still here?
Yeah. Sorry, I'm just switching screens.
Oh.
I'm behind the scenes.
Yeah. So what I like, so you watch an action movie today, a fight scene or like a gun battle, and like it's just action, like it's just stuff that's progressing the plot and people are like dying. But in kung fu movies, you watch a fight scene and it's like dialogue, like things are being said, things are being communicated
through the movement
between the but you have to like pay attention to the action to know what they're saying.
So
this is like a huge example of that. In this fight scene, like they're basically talking, except they're doing it with their fists and their feet. And like it's really cool because it explores so many aspects of martial arts. Like this is what my martial arts looks like, and this is how it fares in this environment. And like it's very rare that you get that from any other genre of action.
That's so cool, man.
Yeah.
It's awesome to hear like how in depth it goes, And
Yeah. Like
how
this
many?
one,
if you had to guess, how many?
This one in
kung
particular.
How many kung fu movies and fight scenes do you think you've seen? All of them? I mean,
I don't know. Actually, I'm pretty sure there's some like really, really like hidden gems that we don't even know about.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like honestly, like back in the day, in the golden age of kung fu movies, they were actually pumping them out. Like,
yeah, they were just cranking them out like bop, 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 bop.
Yep.
It was like factory, because like once they found out that it was marketable, once Bruce Lee shattered all the box office records, everyone wanted to reproduce that. So like you had Golden Harvest, you had Shaw Brothers, you even had all these independent movie studios from Taiwan. Like they're all making movies.
And they were all competing against each other too.
Yeah. So there's so many out there. That's why you can go to a Walmart and like dig in the $5 bin, and you'll come up with like 20 movies you've never heard of.
Yeah.
And most of them, like most of them probably aren't that good. But then every once in a while you'll hit a gem, and that's why like it's always like.
Yeah. I think all the fight scenes are good though.
You just want to do your. Yeah. Everything like because these are real martial artists who are like putting their stuff on screen.
So I have to ask too, because I've heard rumors.
And they're all like, yeah.
I've heard rumors about Andy and your brother Bryan in particular that you guys, most of your kung fu training actually comes from studying film.
That's practically true. Yes. Pretty much.
Partially.
Partially. I will say though, and I know like a lot of like, how do I explain this? I know a lot of like traditional, more traditional martial artists, like they bag on tricking. They're like, dude, it's not martial arts, it's just flashy jumps and kicks. But like, I will give a lot of my credit of creativity to tricking, because tricking is kind of like more of a free sport, from what I've always understood it as. And as you guys were talking about in the previous episodes about style and creativity and flow, like all that stuff, like I applied that over to my kung fu as well, so I'm like, so when I'm tricking or anything, like, or when I'm practicing martial arts, to me they're kind of all in the same realm, and I just grab ideas from different elements, a lot of it being movies, a lot of it being like tricking samplers, even breakdancing videos, anything. And you can see like I try to like put it all into one, and tricking allowed me like open my mind to that, open the idea of creativity. And so because of that, I'm a lot more open to watching kung fu movies and just straight taking moves out and just putting my own twist to it. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. So a lot of trickers, what they do is they just watch what the top trickers are doing, and then they just try to do what that is. And it sounds like your approach is very different. You are like, you have a much more diverse look into things. You look at kung fu movies, dancing, all these different elements, and you can see it in your style. You don't have the dub, need.
Well, partially because I can't do it, but
I know with your dedication and training, if you wanted to, you could do that. You're physically capable. Maybe. You're physically capable of it. I'm telling you, man. I've seen a tricker that a kid a couple years ago didn't know what tricking was. 2 months later, he was doing double cork. So,
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
That's ridiculous how fast like the generation progresses nowadays.
Yeah, it's nuts.
It blows my mind.
Like exponentially almost. Like I feel like there's like a rash. I shouldn't use rash. That makes it sound like it's a bad thing. But there's like certainly this outburst of trickers who pick it up at an alarmingly quick like pace. Like I know I can name like 5 trickers off the top of my head who are just like 0 to hero in like a year or two.
Yeah, less than like 2 years.
My mind.
It's pretty bananas.
Yeah.
So tell me, just talk a little bit more about. So Daniel, you also trick as well.
Yeah.
I don't have any videos on hand. I'm going to research one while we talk. Find a little Daniel Mah sampler, some D-Mah action. But tell me, you guys a little bit more about like your influence in how you train, and what you do when you train.
Okay. Well, like I think even though, well, first I'd like to say there's like a spectrum when it comes to martial club. For me, I have like years in. No, it's okay. It's a good video. But basically, I come from like a very, I guess, at least when you talk in comparison to other members of martial club, I come from like a very formal martial arts background. Like I spent a decade and a half like actually learning in a martial arts school, whereas like Andy has some formal training, but I would say the majority of his skill was developed on his own. And then Bryan is like completely like outside of any formal martial arts structure. So
I actually have to give a lot of my credit. Like I do Philip. I trained with Philip, he taught me a lot of fundamentals. So I have to give him credit for that at least.
Yeah. So I mean, that being the case, when I train tricking, I tend to take like a martial arts approach to it. Obviously, like with kicks and like with stance work with balance and all that, like I do repetitions. I try to like use the same techniques I learned from martial arts and apply it to tricking. And then it's also like very like, well, I'm sure a lot of people watching are competitors in the sport karate circuit, right? So a lot of the stuff that goes into preparing a form for tournaments, like that's also stuff I had to do coming up in martial arts. So that's kind of the approach I take to tricking, because I in a lot of situations where martial arts has to be presented. So I try to I try to do a lot of run throughs, try to like make it as presentable as possible and all that.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Andy, tell me a little bit about your style, like your philosophy, I guess.
Well, I don't really train to compete or anything, so I train to look cool, I guess. Really, like I like to watch a lot of like wushu videos, tricking videos. I explained earlier, and then I just kind of create my own style out of it. For me, I like to right now, I kind of like to look back at like the old Golden Harvest like kung fu videos, because back then, those guys back then, not a lot of them. Okay, a lot of them came from martial arts backgrounds. A lot of them also came from Chinese opera backgrounds. So because of that, they have like a lot of like acrobatic influence. And so for movies, when they blend martial arts and like Chinese opera, they come up with some really cool stuff. And so I like to look at that for inspiration, like the old school like kung fu fights where you see like a lot of shapes and at the same time you see a lot of acrobatics. Nowadays I've been a little more into that. Prior I was really into like Shaolin, because Shaolin Wushu is like it's not exactly like Wushu, but it's not, they don't train for competition, they train for like more like expression, so there's more freedom in their movements. And prior to that I was really into like Honga, so for me it kind of depends what kind of phase I'm in, really. Like whatever I'm into, I draw inspiration from whatever source that is, and then I practice the traditional aspect, and then I implement it into my overall style. So I really don't believe in like defining myself with one style. I like to absolutely open my mind up to everything.
Yeah, and I would say that's like one of the defining features of Martial Club. I would say Andy embodies it best. And that's also one of the ways that we're similar to all the people who made it big in Kung Fu cinema, like Jackie Chan, like Donnie, and adhere to the confines of martial arts structure.
Is it safe to say that that's your dream, that you guys want to be cinema action heroes?
Yeah.
Like, when you're on your deathbed, like, is that like the ultimate of what you want to be remembered as?
Yeah, because
I'm sorry.
I'll speak first, Daniel, and then you can say what's on. Because for us, because we do feel like martial arts is a very like valuable art, but it's also like a dying art that's very extinct. And what we want to do, our goal as Martial Club is to like preserve like the traditions, the morals, and the ethics, and teach it. That's why we do YouTube videos. We do YouTube videos as kind of like a platform to build like our audience, but ultimately we want to make movies because, I mean, for me, movies inspired me the most, right? And so at the end of the day, I want to inspire others and teach them martial arts and, change their life like how martial arts changed my life, through movies, because that was a platform that changed me, that affected me the most, that impacted me the most. Right. So at the end of the day, we want to make our own movies, and we want to inspire people with it.
And you said it pretty good. I mean, Martial Club's mission statement is to, we take the ethics and virtues of martial arts and we make it relevant to a world and a society that's kind of forgotten what that means. And we find that film is the best media by which to accomplish that. So awesome. Definitely we want to make our own mark in the martial arts world. We do believe that martial arts is constantly evolving, because not that long ago, martial arts was something you used to, home and country. And nowadays, with the advent of technology, guns, missiles, all that, like, we don't need martial arts for that purpose. But I still firmly believe that we need martial arts because that spiritual refinement that you derive from practicing these punches and these kicks, I think that's like essential to the survival of the human race. Not to wax so grandiose, but it is like something
The
on that
spiritual
level that
elements, yeah.
exactly. Like it's something that the human race can't do without. And like maybe I'm sounding a little like melodramatic here, but I do think
That's what this
it's
show's
because
for.
there's that we have to spend all this time doing this, and that's why it's worth it.
Yeah.
Because it certainly ain't the money.
It's not the money? You're saying you're not making money on YouTube? Wait, what?
Like, dude, Andy's a starving artist. I happen to have a full-time job outside of martial arts, but like to really, really like make this work, we have like it's blood, sweat, and tears, and time.
Yes.
And time.
If you
a lot of injuries, and stitches.
Mostly on Andy's part. I'm like invincible.
So
Daniel, you're blessed to never get injured, man.
Everybody that's watching the show right now, feel free.
Well,
I know. Sorry to interrupt. People were asking if they can ask questions, and yes, absolutely. If you guys have questions, drop them in the comments. I'm looking through and answering them. There was a question here. Now I gotta find it. That's why I interrupted you guys.
Oh, it's okay. Go for it. I love questions.
Well, now I can't find it. There's too many things going on. But if you guys got ask it, if you ask the question, just ask it again, and I'll find it.
Yeah.
So Martial Club, you started in 2012. It's been about 5 years. Is that right? Is my math right?
Yeah.
5 years.
Yeah.
100,000 subscribers.
Officially 5 years. Feels much longer.
Yeah.
In reality, it's like
feels
mean,
like freaking
I used
almost 10.
There was a point in time where I had a YouTube channel, and I know how much work goes involved, putting it together. And you guys put so much more effort into all of your videos. Like, they're all very well thought out, directed well, fight scenes. I mean, you guys put an insane amount of work into building that, and you guys deserve a lot of recognition. And I don't know if we said this on the air, but you're like, should have had 100,000 a long time ago, and I totally agree with you guys. I feel like you guys are you have the potential to be even bigger and bigger and bigger. So I'm excited to see you guys grow, and I want to know what's the future of Martial Club. Like, where are you guys headed? What's next on the plate?
Dima,
Andy,
you want to get this one?
Okay. And just since that you're itching to answer that, but basically we want to move towards like bigger and better things. So our goal is within the foreseeable future we want to put out a feature-length film, and we're like Andy's like hard at work. He spends like hours a day like writing and putting his best ideas on paper, and we're already like setting all the gears and all the things needed in order to move in that direction. So like, upping our gear game a lot, like, just like investing in that equipment.
That's
to, like,
exciting.
up the production of things. Yeah, so like expect definitely like a higher production value and a higher level of quality across the board.
Is this exclusive breaking news?
I guess so, because I don't think that's like been particularly.
Yeah, I don't think we said anything about that yet.
Exclusive breaking news live on Wolfman.
We've only said, hey guys, just look out, more things in the future. That's it.
There it is. Film's dropping in theaters near you. That's exciting, guys. That's super cool. I can't wait.
There's even more, but I don't know how much I'm at liberty to say.
You said a lot already.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool. So, okay, this is a silly question, but a question just came in. It's probably very important to you guys.
Sure.
Andrew Kirkland wants to know, where do you guys get your really cool Adidas track jackets?
Okay, so this one we went to China
Oh, really?
This says China on it. This is actually like a fake bootleg one. This isn't a real Adidas.
Nice.
Yeah,
So
it's not
even
really
better.
Adidas.
Yeah. But as long as you got the stripes, the effect comes. It doesn't matter, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, as long like, okay. That's another thing like Mark Club hasn't put into so many words. We might make a video on this, but how you look affects and how you feel during training is like it comes, you know, in order to be good at anything you have to believe in yourself, right?
Sure.
And sometimes believe in yourself simply means like looking in the mirror and liking what you see. It sounds a little narcissistic, but it's super true.
It's
like,
very
everything from like jackets you wear to the way your clothes fit, like that can determine your success or failure as a martial artist.
Me and Daniel walk into training sessions like, yo, like, what jacket you wearing today? Oh, how does my hair look? Literally, like, yo, you have Gatsby on you, man? I need like some hair wax.
That's great.
It totally makes a difference.
Well, hey, you might.
It could be a good session and a bad session.
But hey, that clip, that trick you do that session might end up in the next sampler too, and you gotta look
Yeah,
good.
exactly.
That's great.
Yeah, I believe there's a fashion and a function, or like there's fashion and function. It's both.
There's function in fashion.
It's like Andy and I to open gym in like separate cars, and like we look at each other and we're wearing the exact same thing.
Perfect.
And I'm like, dude, I'm not changing.
Hey,
And then like we walk in there. And
you're on a team. It's cool.
Really.
You guys should plan it out. You should just come in like, oh yeah, we're wearing the red jackets today. Let's go.
Yeah.
And you got
before that red jacket before this.
You have to slow motion walk into the gym session each time.
Right.
You should call ahead and like have them play some music, like your theme song.
Right.
Martial Club is entering. All right, I got another question here from Aiden Kennedy. You guys know Aiden Kennedy?
We know Aiden.
Aiden Kennedy
what's up,
is an amazing tricker. 13 or 14 now, Aiden. I'm not sure, but one of the next superstars of the tricking world. So
one of those generation, right? Like
yeah,
freakishly good.
Freakishly good. Not calling you a freak. I'm calling you a mutant though, because he wasn't one of the mutants in the last X-Men movie. All right, he says.
Whoa.
He says, how do you guys get so much power in your kicks?
I don't know if it's so much power. Well, first, kicking. Kicking, you have to think of kicking is not like, okay, so a lot of trickers, they'll think of, throw the biggest kick and make it look as big as possible, which is true. But at the same time, at the end of the day, you got to remember a kick is an attack, right? So really, you really got to put all your force into a kick. At the same time, you have to make it look like you did too. So I remember you and Seshomaru, or I don't know if people call him Seshomaru anymore, Sean Ellis.
Yeah. We get it. I call him Sesh. Yeah.
I call him Sesh. You guys were talking about how very detailed I am about body positioning.
Mm-hmm.
This goes very true. So like when I said and I remember you said I like to drop my head, I like to open my hips, right?
Yeah.
Let's say if one day I'm having a bad kicking day and my kicks don't have that powerful effect, at least creating the body shape will make it look powerful. So I do spend a lot of time like on the walls and training like my kicks very slowly, opening up my hips, keeping my toes sharp, my knees extended and everything. A lot of paddle kick training definitely helps. The thing is with kicking, you can't just think of kicking in the context of like kicking for tricks. You have to embody kicking as an art itself. So like I do spend a lot of time. Yeah, that's where the martial arts comes in. That's where you got to really embody kicking as an art itself, embody the fundamentals. Take your time, train on the paddles, kick the bag, do whatever you need to do, get on the walls, do your stretching. That's one thing I noticed. Like I don't think of kicking for tricking. I think of kicking as an art in itself, and I use that and I apply it into my tricking. I was living in Korea for like a good 2 months, and in that time, I traveled to a lot of like tricking gyms, a lot of taekwondo, like different taekwondo teams, and I trained with a lot. I learned a lot of kicking techniques, and I, like Bruce Lee, right? I took a lot of what I liked, and I just created like my own kicking style, and I practiced that kicking style as kicking in itself. And so that's where it'll come out more naturally in tricking. If you want to talk about kicking power, that's where it comes across. Yes.
Awesome. Fun story. I actually visited Andy Lee when he was training in Korea. Do you remember that?
Oh
day?
yeah. That was so freaking. Oh my god.
Yeah, right.
That was like so out of the blue.
I know.
I think you knew I was gonna be there too, but you were just like.
No, I knew you were gonna be there. I think you knew I was gonna be there. I told Wujin or somebody over there, and I was like, "Don't tell Andy Lee that I'm sneaking up and I'm gonna be at the gym." But that was.
What were you doing there again?
So okay, here's a crazy story. My brother used to work for the airlines, and we could fly standby for free through the fact that he did that. Right. And so him and I and some friends were like, "Hey, let's try to go to Thailand," because they were gonna stop. United was gonna stop flying to Thailand. There was like 2 weeks left until they were like, "We're done. Like we're changing routes or whatever." We're like, "This is our chance. We gotta go." So we hopped on a plane and we flew into Tokyo, and then we tried to get a connecting flight to Thailand. And apparently everybody that works for United thought the same thing. So the standby line was like 30 deep, and there's no way you're ever going to get on a plane to Thailand. And we're like, okay. And the gate right next to it was going to Korea. And so we're like, let's go to Korea. So then I called up the Kings of Connection guys, and I was like, hey guys, mind if I stop by? And they're like, yeah, Andy Lee's training here. And I'm like, oh, let's sneak up and surprise him. So that was a lot of fun. That was a good day.
That was quite a surprise.
Yeah, that was awesome. We got some cool samplers. I remember we went out and had the Korean barbecue.
Yeah.
Man, that was a good night.
That was a good night.
By the way, that's like one of Marshall Club's like favorite pastimes in barbecue. Some of our best times ever
Korean barbecue
as a team have been like ranting at Korean barbecue. We're always the loudest people there, and we always eat the most meat, and we're always the last ones there. It's just like it's a ceremony, it's a ritual. So like,
I don't know how popular Korean barbecue is outside the West Coast. If you guys are in the chat, if you have a chance, like go to Korean barbecue. It's like
yeah. For those of you who don't know what it is, because I realize it is kind of like a Southern California phenomenon. But basically, you go to a Korean barbecue spot and they give you platters of raw meat, and you cook it yourself, and it's all you can eat. And for something like that, it's really cheap. So like, you know, places range anywhere from $10 to like maybe as high as like $30, but like it's always a good time to go with friends. You just like throw on the meat and you cook it to your specifications, and like you just like be as loud as you can for as long as you can. Try not to explode. And I would say that's like part of Martial Club's training.
Yeah.
Definitely a team building exercise.
I wouldn't call it training on my end. I just call it gluttony, but it's good stuff, man.
The training comes when we try to trick in the parking lot after Korean barbecue.
Oh my god.
No.
We have those. We also loiter a lot in front of 7-Elevens after training sessions.
7-Eleven, Korean barbecue spots. Like, dude, you always see us tricking in the parking lot.
I think I've loitered with you guys outside of In-N-Out for a while, and I think of McDonald's too late night.
Next time you're in the area, we gotta do it again.
Sounds good. Just pick your favorite fast food. We'll just go hang out in the parking lot. Somebody else wants to know a question a little bit more about the details. If you could go into further detail about what you assessed as what constitutes as a good kick.
As a good kick.
So basically, also they go on and they're like, I'm an instructor and I'm kind of looking for some more almost like quotes that I can like tell the kids in class. Like, what should you be focusing on to have a good kick?
It's hard to say because everyone's ideal of a good kick can be different depending, you know. Me and Bryan, like, we roast each other all the time. I don't like the way he sidekicks. He doesn't like the way I sidekick, you know?
Brian Lee's got a beastly sidekick. I'm impressed with it.
Yeah, I know. Mine is better.
Okay. By the way, everybody, I invited Bryan on the show too, but he's off in Ireland or something, doing something crazy right now.
Yeah, he's on the TV show.
Oh.
So ideal of a good kick really depends on, you know, what you value. For me, Bryan like if you look at Bryan's style, his idea of a good kick is like can be defined in like like a baseball bat. He wants to like, how do I explain it? His kicks are gonna kill you. They're like a baseball bat.
It's like a tree trunk, yeah.
Yeah, so he wants like brute force and raw power, right, in his kicks.
Yeah.
I embody like grace and lines more and extension. Does that make sense? So for me, like what I value as a good kick may be different than Bryan's. So for me, I value, like I said, lines, pointed toes, extension, and overall body positioning to accentuate that extension, the effect of the kick.
Right.
And for me, I like kicks that look nice. Some people might value kicks that are effective, like in a fight, or everybody's ideals on a perfect kick can be different. So I mean, the most I can say is, find your ideal, what you like in a kick, and then like train hard and work towards it, because that's what I strive to do, at least. Same with Bryan. Yeah. What's up, Daniel?
At the end of the day, I would say like all good kicks have certain things in common. Like does it cover the same range? Like does it start 45 before the target and pass through the target, as opposed to like fall. Like good body mechanics, a kick should start like and do that thing where it slices across the field of vision. It should have good body mechanics. So like like I would say a hook kick in the leg, clearing that, but it's also the torque in the opposite direction from the upper body, good balance, good flexibility, for aesthetics, pointed toes. But I think like all of those things become standard to a good kick.
I can agree with that too.
Awesome.
Totally.
But then like everything Andy said is like when you're there and like you have full mastery over your kicks, what do you emphasize? That becomes like a stylistic choice.
Now, do you ever watch people's kicks and you think like that's just terrible?
Be
honest.
All the time. But like, cause like what Daniel said, like there are some fundamental body mechanics to a kick that should be executed.
Yeah.
So, because like if those aren't executed, then I mean, it
shows.
It's not a good kick. It shows.
So I think we could have a full episode on just the philosophy behind kicking in itself. I actually tried to.
Bryan,
yeah.
We'll kill each other at the end of that podcast.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I'll be there refereeing. I like to do that for them.
It'd be hilarious. Oh, you know what? I think just to give Bryan a little bit of love, we should pull up a Bryan Lee video so people know Bryan, because he's an integral part of the martial club.
Absolutely.
What Bryan?
You will, like, if you meet Bryan in person, like you will never meet another person like him. He's a character.
Never. Yeah, Bryan.
Oh, here's the how to do a spinning hook kick. I love this video.
Oh.
Yeah. There are two types of people in this world: people who have met Bryan Lee and people who haven't. It's very.
This is great. So I have the audio off. Maybe I'll turn it out.
I decided, I'll make you guys a little tutorial while I'm at it. I'm gonna give you guys a spinning hook kick tutorial. I'm sure you see it in all my videos.
He reminds me. He kind of reminds me of a Juji
Bryan.
Bufu.
Yeah. A little bit, huh?
A little bit.
Totally.
Just the character and like the rawness.
Yeah.
I'll break this down for you.
Yeah. And the funny thing is, like, he's really like that. Like,
yeah,
not putting on an act for the camera.
Yeah, like
he's
you.
really like that. From the time to the time he goes to sleep, he's just like,
It's awesome.
having you feel.
Man, your house has to be a scary place.
Guess what? There's no right or wrong. It's all perspective.
What's up?
So keep that in mind next time.
I said your house has to be a scary place.
Oh.
In more ways than one.
So Andy and Bryan, do you guys get in a lot of fights at home?
We did, but we grew up.
Ah.
No, they still like.
Have you ever done
that? When it comes
to like cache footage of them like fighting,
we can get really competitive. I can say that at the very least. In terms of like martial arts or training or tricking, we can get really competitive with each other. If you Daniel can vouch, every time we're at open gyms, like, and me and Bryan happen to be on the same floor, We always go after each other. I go after him more than he does with me because he's scared of me now because I've gotten so much better than him recently. But prior, it was always like me and him always going at it.
Yeah.
Have you guys ever done a fight scene on your channel where you guys like just fight each other in your room over like brotherly stuff or something?
Oh, we will now. Now that you brought that up, that's a
I
good
think
idea.
it's an easy call.
There's real footage, and I'm careful with how I distribute it because it's gold.
or you could do that too. I see this is like a thing that happens in Korea a lot. They have these fake real fight scenes where it looks like it's like a hidden camera or like a security camera catching footage of like a street fight scene, but it's totally it's totally staged.
Yeah. I noticed one way people do that to get viral nowadays.
Yeah.
Give it a shot. I'm just saying,
maybe
give it credit at the end.
It might just happen for real, and we'll still get it.
You should. I don't know. Give it a shot. I think it'd be great. You guys love to perform like in random spots too. Andy, I know you. Jaren, I was talking to Jaren a while ago. This was a couple of years ago, and he was telling me a story about how you guys wanted to like perform in front of like some K-pop superstar, and you're like a concert.
Those days. Yeah, we totally just like threw down.
And like, did you get on stage or something?
Yeah, we did. We ended up getting on stage.
That's so cool.
Yeah. Met some of our celebrity crushes that day too. It was pretty awesome.
Are you still into K-pop? Like obsessed with it?
I'm not as obsessed as I was, but I still listen to it. No, I'm still pretty obsessed. Just not. But back then was a new level of obsession. I'm still pretty obsessed with it.
You do seem to have some obsession qualities about you.
I'm sorry?
You have some obsessive qualities about you.
Oh yeah.
I would still say that there's a special like tier of K-pop fandom called Andy Lee, and only Andy Lee.
What?
Like, he'll go to a K-pop event and somehow he'll catch the attention of some like famous K-pop star because there's that level of fandom called Andy Lee.
Oh my god.
It'll always be there.
So I'm gonna play a video right now that I made because of a K-pop superstar. So. So you guys said one day that this K-pop superstar, his name was Jay Park.
Oh yeah, he rolled in that day.
Right. He came to a tricking session. He's like apparently a huge celebrity in Korea, and
yeah, he still is.
And so the news spread amongst all the LA trickers that this Korean superstar was here. So they all showed up for session, and you guys all threw down super hard to impress him, honestly. And
I don't know. I think we just went super hard and we just intimidated him.
Yeah, exactly. You totally intimidated him. Yeah, you freaked him out. I think he did like a tornado kick over in the corner and then was like, I'm done. I'm just going to watch.
Yeah.
I remember that. But I remember
those days.
I got like 1 second of him in the video. I was like, I got to get superstar Jay Park. I was like, I don't know who this is, but I know I'll get YouTube hits if he's in my video.
Right.
And I did. I got a bunch of people tuned in like, whoa, my God, I saw him.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Wow.
It's hilarious. I mean, just as like, whoever Andy Lee's the president of in their fan club there. There's D-Trix. He was like, why are you filming me, bro?
Yeah.
Get that camera out of my face.
Dang. Good times, wow.
Yeah.
The old jam days, huh? Everyone used to go hard.
Every single day.
Every session was like stacked, yeah.
Like sample-worthy session every single night.
Yeah, it was pretty wild. So, I mean, I don't live in LA anymore. I moved a little while ago. Do you guys ever train there? You ever go to jam?
It's quite a drive, man, for us.
Yeah.
It's once in a blue moon for us.
Yeah.
It's about a 35-mile drive for me, and maybe like twice that for Andy.
Yeah.
But like there are still occasions where like if we have a friend visiting from out of town, we'll make the drive for sure.
Cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, maybe like once every 2 months or so. But
good old days, reminiscing.
Yeah.
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 So Valentine wants to know what's the weight of Bryan these days.
Right now he's ranging in the 200s, low 200s. He could be
Is
in
he?
his one. Yeah, 200 pounds. I don't know.
I thought like he was like stepping out there. I mean, yeah, he ranges, but like right now he's probably like what
90, 190,
190.
maybe 190 to the lower 200s.
Yeah.
Good to know. We'll keep updated on that.
Yeah.
Valentine also wants to know, how was your experience in Shandong?
Dima, I think you got this one.
Dude,
What is that? What's he talking about?
Shandong was amazing. Okay, so Martial Club recently made a trip to China, and
Valentine, what's up?
We were invited to teach at a school in Shandong, and yeah, it was amazing because we thought we were just going there to like substitute teach for people, like to substitute teach for like some teachers who needed vacation, but it turned out to be like a gathering, a 10th year anniversary for the school, and there were like 200, 300 students there.
Did you say it's a tricking school?
Like it was just Andy. Yeah, it's a tricking school. Like in China, you think it's like a kung fu school with like tricking in it, but this is actually like a full-on academy dedicated to tricking.
It's amazing.
It's called Wulin. I would say it's like the first tricking school in China. Someone might need to fact check me on that, but it's like you go in there, it has like a gated facility, like a campus, and like they showed us like to the place, and it had like this big 2-story building, and we're like, dude, this is the biggest school we've ever seen, like biggest tricking school we've ever seen. And then like they lead us out of that 2-story building into another 2-story building right behind it, and it's an entire
complex.
Gym.
Wow.
And we thought it was just like, this gymnasium like size place with like puzzle mats. It's all spring floor. It's
Wow.
huge.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, it dwarfs any open gym we've seen in America, and like they're just tricking 6 hours a day. It's nuts.
Is there
Yeah.
stuff on the internet? Can I find this online?
You can, but it's mostly in the Chinese websites. We were planning to make a vlog on it, but we're still like gathering footage from it.
Yeah.
I'll never find it.
The name of the school is Wulin Tongmeng. That's WULIN space TONGMENG.
WULIN
Yeah.
TO.
TONGMENG. I'm not sure if you'll find stuff. It's like
I
it's
don't think
more.
I
They're
spelled it right.
like bigger on.
You might have to look at the Chinese websites.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah,
this-
yeah.
I'll have to find out some other time. I mean, Philip was also telling me this too. Valentine's told me this too. McGuire was on the show yesterday. He was saying the same thing. He said that the China scene in tricking is like
Oh.
unbelievable. Like it's
Yeah,
just
it's crazy.
it dwarfs
Remember-
everything.
There was a time on like tricking forums when like people would be talking about tricking from different countries, and everyone like wondered about China because like on the old trick tutorial forum, like there was like a tally how many members from each country, and China would only have like 1 or 2. But
Yeah.
China's their tricking community has been growing since like 2008. And it's been like getting crazy. They're like super powerful trickers there, but they don't have YouTube and they don't have Facebook. So and they don't have, unless they have a VPN, they don't have any of these sites or Instagram. So like it's happening.
How does
No
their
one's seeing it,
tricking?
and they're-
There are those kids that are like doing like cheat 12s within a year. You know,
Yeah,
cheat
they're
12
like
and triple course.
a number of people who can do like cheat 12, backside 12, and double full all in the same combo, like on the regular. Now that's just not even just a good session for them. Like
Does their
That's like
style look different? Does it like is there like a Chinese style of
I
tricking?
would say, no, it's not like Andy. Like Andy's like a rarity. He's probably the only person in the world who has like that
Oh, thank you. Dima.
much of wushu integration into his style. I would say the most similar Chinese tricking it's kind of like Korea in a sense. That's based on what I see. Maybe Andy has a different opinion on that.
No, I agree.
Yeah, because like here in America, I would say like the biggest martial arts transition to tricking is like from sport karate, right?
Right.
I would say the biggest transition over to tricking in China is Taekwondo, not Wushu. Because Wushu is like very, very stringent in its regulations. So like people are in a certain mindset that is optimized for Wushu competition specifically. So it's hard for them to like break the
Got it.
walls. But Taekwondo is readily transferable.
Yeah.
to-
Taekwondo is actually
It's
pretty big in China.
Yeah, I would say like
It may even be bigger than
perhaps
Wushu.
even more popular. Yeah.
Very interesting.
So,
Yeah,
yeah,
it's such a mystery that their firewall, their language. I'm
definitely
like,
check out. Yeah, you should definitely have Valentine on your show. He can definitely tell you a lot about the tricking community in China because he does a lot to promote
Yeah.
it. but it is like crack-a-lacking, and we just
It's
don't know.
crack-a-lacking.
All right, Valentine, you have an official invite if you want to be on the show. Because, we keep bringing you up. You keep talking about the China connection. I want to know what's going on in
That's
China.
to make up for the fact that we didn't get to see you last time we went to China, so please forgive us.
Cool. Well, Valentine, I'll hit you up after the show. You guys, our hour is pretty much up here. So.
Oh, perfect. My phone was about to die.
Okay. I just want to say thank you guys for coming on the show today. It was really
Thank you,
awesome.
Jacob, for having us. That was really fun. It was
Yeah.
really, really fun.
It's good to catch up with you guys too.
Yes.
I know Aiden was in here and he asked about what it's like to talk about to hang out with Jackie Chan. We actually talked about that at the top of the show. So Aiden, after the show is over, just hit the replay and that's one of the first things we talk about. But anyhow, thank you guys. Thank everybody that tuned in today. Awesome,
Thank you guys so
solid
much.
week. Marshall Club. Boom. Catch you guys next Monday. Next Monday, my guest is Mr. Weaver Fever. Tyler Weaver's joining me. Talking about, we're talking Tyler Weaver stuff there. Should be fun. Until then, have a good weekend. Train hard.
Hey.
Go become a YouTube superstar. Catch you later.
You can do it. All the resources are at your fingertips.
Yep.
You heard it. You heard it from the Marshall Club. Peace.